I am so grateful that all of you could come out to join us today for this very special visit from the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Deval Patrick. We are honored as well today to be joined by Massachusetts Secretary of Education, Paul Reville, the president of this university, Bob Corrett, the hardest working chair in the history of the University of Massachusetts, our Board of Trustees Chair, Henry Thomas, and our wonderful, 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 wonderful student trustee, Alexis Marvel. Now, Governor Patrick, a wise man once said, public institutions are a pretty darn good bargain here in Massachusetts. That wise man was you. And I believe that you are correct. We are a pretty darn good bargain. It's because of your support that we continue to be so. Since you've taken office, you have worked hard to ensure that the University of Massachusetts system can continue to offer an accessible, world-class education for students from all over our state, our nation, and the world. In particular, you have stood behind the only public research university within the city of Boston, the University of Massachusetts Boston, and all your friends are here today to tell you thank you. Thank you for standing with us when so many others looked at us and just used to smile. You smiled for the right reasons because you knew something. You knew that an investment in this university is an investment in lives of people that are going to impact generations, this neighborhood, this Commonwealth, this country, and the world. And so we're so proud for that. We are honored by every visit you made to our campus, meeting entrepreneurs who are contributing to the state economy at our Venture Development Center, helping us to break ground at the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate, and setting a model of efficiency in government at the Performance Management Conference we held here on this campus earlier this year. And we're so grateful for all of your support, all the support you've expressed and acted on. You just don't talk about it, you do it. And for us, in our nearly 16,000 students, we say thank you. This afternoon's announcement is yet another show of support from you and your administration on behalf of the students of our Commonwealth. It is proof of your faith in our ability to give them the education that they deserve, one that will help them serve our state, and all while being a pretty darn good bargain. So, all right, enough suspense. I want everyone to know our good news. So I'm going to get out the way, Governor, and I'd like to introduce to all of you our Governor, Governor Deval Patrick.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. First of all, thank you. Special thanks to the Chancellor. Every time I come here, and I have the honor to be introduced by Chancellor Motley, I feel like I've been in church. Chancellor, thank you for the warm welcome always, and to you and your staff and all the members of the faculty for your leadership. Thank you, students, for investing in yourselves and in your future and in a better future for the Commonwealth. I want to thank President Corrett and all of the staff and leadership of the University of Massachusetts system for exceptional vision. And to you, Henry Thomas, as chair of the board, and the members of the board, thank you. Our Secretary of Education is here, who does a marvelous job trying to move us forward in not just new money, but new ideas throughout our education system. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much. And Alexis, I can't wait to hear not just what you're going to say today, but what you're going to do. Let me just say, I've done business all over the world in my private sector experience. And there are two observations about Massachusetts that just are recurring. One is that everybody gets that education is our calling card, that the concentration of brain power, the well-educated workforce, the respect for intellectual capacity is something that is a real edge for us around the world. There are some hundreds, 200 or 300 institutions of higher learning within an hour-and-a-half drive of where we are right now. There are few other places like it on Earth, and it's an edge for us. It's as important for us here as coal is in West Virginia or corn is to Iowa. So the first observation is that education is our calling card. The second observation is that everybody wants to be us. Because what's happening right now in the global economy is a knowledge explosion. We have an advantage because of that reputation, because of that reality around a concentration of brain power. But we will only retain it if we invest in it, if we try to make sure that it is enabled for today and for a generation to come. For 150 years now, the University of Massachusetts, like other state universities and community colleges, have been putting the American dream within reach of generations of young people, and not so young people. And I want to honor the leadership of President Corrett and Chancellor Motley and many, many other higher education, public higher education leaders for keeping that going. But indeed, if we are to enable them, to enable you, we have to invest. That's what the Integrated Science Building here on this campus is about. That's what new science facilities at Bridgewater State University are about. There are examples of this at UMass Amherst and at many, if not all, of our public college and university campuses right now. We need to step that up. And so today we take a big step forward. I'm proud to announce that our new 5-year capital plan will include a total of $607 million in new investment in the UMass system. As part of that investment, I'm pleased to announce state funding for 3 new projects on UMass campuses. Here on this campus, we will begin work on a new $100 million academic classroom building so you can meet continued enrollment growth. At UMass Lowell, we will begin construction on a $35 million building for the Manning School of Business, which leverages $10 million in contributions from UMass alumni. We'll also begin construction of an $85 million physical science building on the Amherst campus, continuing our support for STEM education. Each of those projects is important in and of themselves, but they are indications of a commitment that your government is trying to make and wants to make alongside all of you in lifting individuals and this Commonwealth into the 21st century. I'm also pleased to announce a total of $2.5 million in Vision Project Performance Incentive Fund grants for the UMass campuses and state universities. These grants will support our strategic agenda for excellence in public higher education. The funds will be used for new and existing programs to improve college readiness, graduation, and student success rates. The grants will also expand programs tied to our future workforce needs so that we can better prepare students in high-demand fields. UMass Boston is receiving about $120,000 to create professional development programs and develop civic engagement strategies. The combination of these grants and capital funding, and let me just say some other things we hope to do in the coming budget, is about seeing our future in you. Make the most of it. Thank you so much for having me.
I think you, Governor, I think you should know that we accept. We have in the second row the lady who collects all of those dollars. She's watched every word. And thank you, Governor Patrick. We are so grateful for your support. It means so much to our ability to train and educate the coming generations of amazing students who are throughout this audience today. It means so much to have an administration that understands the value of public higher education in our Commonwealth, that believes in our mission here at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, and that acts in service to our students. Now, Secretary of Education Paul Reville is a champion of all of our students from K through 12 to higher education. He works hard to tackle issues from early literacy to college completion. Please welcome our Secretary, Secretary Paul Reville.
Thank you, Chancellor Motley. You know, it's always a tough act to follow both the governor and Chancellor Motley at the same time, but I am happy to know and I'm relieved to know that the university is going to accept this grant from the Commonwealth, so that puts me at ease in that regard. I'm here just to offer a couple of footnotes to what's already been said about this tremendous investment, not only in the future of this campus, but in the future of the students who we see arrayed around this room today. A couple of things that have been mentioned in the governor's comments were many of the buildings in which we're investing, not just at the university, but around the Commonwealth as a whole, in our state university system and our community colleges, are dedicated to a focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. And that is a critical part of our future. And closing achievement gaps in the STEM areas and advancing excellence in those areas is something that is not only good for our students, but good for our economy and good for the Commonwealth as a whole. And as we look in those areas, we have achievement gaps, and we have opportunity gaps, and we have inspiration gaps. And we're counting on the University of Massachusetts to work with us and our K-12 system and all our institutions of higher learning to close those gaps and to put Massachusetts into a premier position in the STEM fields going forward in the future. A second element of this, and no campus better illustrates it than the University of Massachusetts Boston, is the tremendous growth we've seen in public education in recent years. People get the bargain that the Chancellor was talking about in his opening remarks. And students and their families are flocking to public higher education all across the Commonwealth because of the leadership and the quality provided on this and other campuses of our public higher education system across the Commonwealth. So we're growing rapidly. You're growing rapidly here. One of the things that we all want to be assured of, and I know Chairman Thomas and President Corrett and others of my colleagues on the board think about this every board meeting and lots of time in between, is how do you assure quality at the same time you assure growth? And we're working hard at that quality assurance. The Commissioner of Higher Education, the Board of Higher Education, has instituted something called the Vision Project, which focuses in on a number of indicators of quality and success in public higher education that apply to the university as well as to our state universities and community colleges. Those are metrics that track our progress in getting our young people into college, but more importantly, getting them through college, getting degrees and enjoying the benefits of those degrees, tracking our progress in connecting our graduates to employers, tracking our progress in closing achievement gaps, and other indicators of that nature. And the grants that the governor announced today, not the capital grants, but the other grants, the Performance Incentive Fund, reward those campuses that are doing extraordinary work in closing those quality gaps. So we at the Commonwealth, the Executive Office, certainly the governor and his staff, are dedicated to continuing to work with you, not only on enjoying this extraordinary moment for public higher education in Massachusetts, but assuring the continuing growth in quality as well as quantity. And we look forward to that partnership in the years to come. Thank you very much.
So, Secretary Rebel, thank you too. All right, we're so grateful to have you. Progress requires investment, and we're grateful for this investment from the state. Progress also requires strong leadership, and the University of Massachusetts is fortunate to have a strong leader in our president, Robert Corrett. Now, each building we're designing, each course and academic program we're planning, every improvement, renovation, or tweak to this campus and our offerings is in service to President Corrett's clear vision and vision for this university system. His goals for the University of Massachusetts are our goals at the University of Massachusetts Boston. And I'm excited to work with him, and I'm also excited to plan the next phase of our progress. Please welcome our president, President Robert Corrett.
Thank you so much. Governor, a heartfelt thank you. The appreciation is here from all of us. We really do appreciate your support. We couldn't do it without you. UMass Boston, on behalf of the entire UMass system, let's show the governor how much we appreciate it again. I'm pleased to be here. You've heard everyone mentioned, the governor, the secretary, two of the trustees, including Trustee Thomas, who chairs the board, and Trustee Marvel, who works hard on behalf of the students both here at UMass and the students across the entire system. It's a great day for the University of Massachusetts. I've worked for over 40 years in 3 different states to continue to provide affordable, high-quality access to public higher education for the students of those states. And we can only do that when public policy and the support of our legislators and our governor are with us. And it's really, really heartwarming to be here in Massachusetts at a time when Massachusetts is again focusing aggressively on the public higher education system in the state, making it the kind of system we all want, but more importantly, the kind of system we all need. I just finished, or about to finish, the second day of my second annual Across the State bus tour. A bus tour that is aimed at listening to what Massachusetts needs from the University of Massachusetts, but also this year telling people what we need from them in terms of public support. And today is a reflection of the kind of support we're garnering by carrying our message across the state. 71,000 students this year, 68,000 applicants this year, 15,000 graduates, almost 300,000 alumni in the state, and 500,000 alumni around the globe. An institution that is ranked top 75 in the world by the Times of London among hundreds of competitors internationally. We are very, very proud of what we've done for the last 150 years, and we intend to continue doing it for the next 150 years, and we can do that because of the kind of help we're getting from the governor here today. The University of Massachusetts provides education, economic vitality, and social change for Massachusetts. We have done that for decade upon decade upon decade. We have provided the leaders of the future, and we will continue to do that. When 70% of the public school graduates in Massachusetts wind up going to public universities and colleges, that's a very different world than existed 30, 40, or 50 years ago. For those 70% of the students, we need to keep the doors open. We need to keep the doors wide. We need to keep the cost affordable, and we want to make it high quality. Today, we are taking a big step to ensure that. You cannot provide the kind of educational experience, the kind of educational outcome, draw in the kind of partners you need to do the kind of teaching, research, economic vitality, and social change we need in this state without quality facilities, and all of the campuses will be benefiting from the budget the governor is putting forward today. We thank him for it. We will show our appreciation going forward by what we do with those facilities for the citizens here in Massachusetts. Thanks for being with us today on this celebration day.
We will show them with our action and our works. And so thank you, President Corrett, for reminding us of that vision, those goals, and for coming across the state today on that bus to be here with us today. Now, another strong leader who I'm excited to work with in the days ahead as our new chair of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees is Mr. Henry Thomas. He was appointed this summer by our wise governor, Governor Patrick, and Chair Thomas brings a strong student focus to his role. He's always working for our students and on their behalf. And so please welcome this hardworking, passionate, dedicated individual to the podium, Board of Trustees Chair Henry Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon to the remarkable, the extraordinary Chancellor who works harder, faster, and stronger than anybody I know, Keith Motley. Chancellor Motley, we all owe you a debt of gratitude. When I was sitting in the chair, I was sweating, and I was thinking about, grabbing my handkerchief and wiping the sweat off of me. But then I had a flashback. A flashback to about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when there was a favorite son who stood on a stage in Charlotte, North Carolina, in a deep sweat, and turned it out with the greatest American speech that we've heard in a long time. So why am I concerned about sweating when we got a man that sweats for us in the governor, Deval Patrick? I want to sweat for you too. But let me acknowledge also Trustee Alexis Marvel. There's no student trustee that works harder, who is a more pungent and stronger advocate for the interests of UMass Boston, but also UMass system. She gets it. She is a pleasure to serve with, and I just want to give her a special acknowledgement. Trustee Alexis Marvel. And two, a man who wakes up every day, every morning, thinking about the best interests of our pre-K students, our K through 12 students, and our higher education students. He is not only dedicated, he is passionate, he is smart, and he's effective, and that is our Secretary of Education, Paul Revel. We made a decision about 2 years ago almost now to have someone to lead this great university system. And that person came to us from Baltimore, Maryland, Bmore, Maryland. And I tell you, it was a great decision on the part of the Board of Trustees, because we have a real leader, a real visionary, a real worker, a real listener, and a real doer. And that is our president, Robert Corrett. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I first want to thank Governor Deval Patrick for approving the funding for this great edifice that's going to be erected soon, the academic building, and also for all the other facilities that he's approved on the Lowell campus and the UMass Worcester campus, as well as Amherst. He is truly the education governor, and we are fortunate to have him as our leader in not only setting the tone for the Commonwealth, but setting the tone for the nation. And so we owe him a debt of gratitude for life, because his legacy will live on and on after he's long gone. Governor, thank you so much. Yeah, we can give it up to him one more time. When it's all said and done, we are about students first and academics. We're about a lot of other things, but our high-value targets are students and academics. Everything that we do must have a nexus to student interests. We should ask the question for every decision that we make as a board of trustees. Every decision we make, everything that we do should be connected to the best interests of the students who are matriculating in our great university system. And academics is what they're here for. And so to build a new academic facility that enhances and facilitates and enables scholarship and research is huge. And it also demonstrates that we are putting our money where our mouth is. And it shows that we not only understand what needs to be done, that we have the will to do it. And so, congratulations, UMass Boston. This is a great addition to a campus that is going to proliferate with additional assets as we go down the road. Thank you for your attention, and good afternoon.
Chairman Thomas, come up here grabbing the mic. Tell you, come out of Springfield, come up to Boston. I tell you, man, it's something else. We're grateful to have you. Now, you know that we always save one of our wonderful students for the last presenter, because now you'll understand why this governor, this Commonwealth, and others decided to invest in this university. I'm delighted to introduce the next speaker, and honored that she could come join us today on slightly short notice, probably about an hour ago or something. But Alexis Marvel serves as this university's student trustee, but I've watched her grow and grow and grow and grow. She has been able to garner the support of our student leadership. Jesse, stand up. Our Student Government Association president is here today. But what I love about her is that she focuses on her she's a thoughtful representative. She has a voice and she uses it. She doesn't just sit at the table. And she's an advocate for our students first, last, and over and over and over again. She is also a board member of the Public Higher Education Network of Massachusetts and an intern at our consortium on gender, security, and human rights, a senior majoring in political science, and a member of our honors program, all wrapped up into student trustee. Alexis, you truly live up to your last name. You are a marvel. And so we're going to bring you forward today. Thank you. Please welcome our student trustee, Alexis Marvel.
Well, I want to thank Chancellor Motley for that wonderful introduction. Just a couple weeks ago, I was introducing him at convocation, so it's the other way around this time. We switch it up. I'd also like to take a moment to thank all of the speakers who have gone before me, and most especially to thank the governor for this wonderful investment in the students that are at this university and the future of our university and in our Commonwealth. It's hard for me to believe sometimes, but I actually started last fall. I was eager to find my footing and was immersing myself in the infectious passion and drive of my peers. It was easy to find the inspiration to succeed, because at the University of Massachusetts, we are surrounded by excellence. Here at UMass Boston, we are a campus of courage. We have a melting pot of stories, of ethnic, racial, and socioeconomic backgrounds, and we have the courage, the audacity to fight for a better life for ourselves and for our families. Like many of my peers, I am a first-generation college student and proud of it. I grew up in Taunton, Massachusetts, to a low-income family. Between 2 jobs, a accredited internship, and my role as student trustee, I work 60 hours a week. To cut down on expenses, I'm taking on so many courses that I'm now on track to graduate in the spring as an honors student, giving me a bachelor's degree in 2 years instead of 4. Still, thank you. Still, like too many students today, I'm drowning in debt. I'm standing before you in the only dress pants I own. My shoes are threatening to fall apart on me, and I can probably name for you every flavor of ramen noodles out there. We've got chili shrimp, we've got chili lime shrimp, just lime shrimp. It's a long list. I can tell you afterwards. A picture of my little brothers and sisters rests on my nightstand for motivation, because I dream of paying for their education someday so that their biggest struggle isn't trying to find 2 or 3 jobs to get by, but acing their finals. Don't mistake me as an outlier. I'm not telling you this so that you can, think of me as the exception. I'm not the exception here. I'm the rule. Unfortunately. You walk around this campus, though, or any other UMass campus for that matter, and we are fighting tooth and nail to succeed. But we can't do it alone. And thanks to Governor Patrick, today we don't have to. The burden of our university expenses must begin to be lifted from students and their families. And once again, I'd like to take a minute to thank the governor and his administration for furthering their commitment to funding our future. As a public institution, we always need more funding from the state. And the support you've shown today, Governor, is an excellent step in ensuring that our students and our workforce not only survives, but that they have the skill sets necessary to thrive. We have the talent, the drive, the intellect, and state funding for these capital projects will enable us to have the kind of high-quality education we need in Massachusetts to strengthen and empower both today's and tomorrow's middle class. Funding for capital projects are an investment in our economy. They're an investment in our future. But most importantly, they're an investment in making the dreams of students, of my siblings, a reality. And today we take a huge leap in realizing that goal. Thank you.
Showing off. That's why we invest. And so, thank you everybody for coming out this afternoon. We're so grateful to you. Governor, thank you for your support. We're looking forward to building and building and building and building. And so thank you. Have a great afternoon.